This is the first book with a read of wealth management. There are good principles and ideas how to keep your money. So here is a summary of the book and all its principles. So let's begin. Chapter 1. The Man Who Desired Gold. This chapter tells the story of Kobe and Benthir. Benthir is complaining that he works so hard yet never has any riches to show for it. They talk about how much gold they had earned over the years. Yet they had nothing left to show after all the years of labor, as they had spent the gold to live. Kobe and Benthir discuss how they had both hoped that they may one day become rich, but it never happened to them. They decide to approach one of their childhood friends, Arkad, who was known as the richest man in Babylon. Chapter 2. The Richest Man in Babylon. In this chapter, Kobe and Benthir meet up with Arkad. Arkad tells Kobe and Benthir that the reason they have failed to accumulate wealth may be because they have failed to observe the laws that govern wealth. Arkad found his road to wealth when he decided that a tenth of all he earned was his to keep. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep. Always pay yourself first. Every money you earn is a slave to work for you. No matter how much or how little you earn, always pay yourself first. 3 Laws of Handling Wealth from Gilgamesh, the original richest man in Babylon. Live on less than you earn. Seek advice from those that are competent through their experiences to give it. Learn how to make money work for you. Chapter 3. The 7 Cures for a Lean Purse. In this chapter, King Sargon is worried about the city as it is getting poorer, and he seeks the advice of Arkad. Arkad tells the king his own story and teaches the king the 7 secrets for a lean purse. Your income is your first wealth generator. Save at least 10%. For every 10 coins you put in your purse, take out 9 and leave 1. Eventually the purse will become fat. More money flows to you when you don't spend all you have. Control your expenditure. Budget your expenses. Your necessary expenses will always grow to the same amount as your income, unless you tell it otherwise. Don't confuse expenses with desires. We have more desires than our earnings can gratify. Budget necessary expenses. Keep 10% for yourself. All the desires outside of your budget, leave them. Keep adjusting your budget. The budget will help fatten your purse. Make your gold multiply. Put your gold to work so it can reproduce more of its kind. An income stream that comes whether you work or travel. Passive income is what true wealth is. Make your money work for you. Guard your treasure from loss. Learn to protect the small amounts before you get larger amounts to manage. Study carefully before making investments. Don't borrow money to people that won't repay you. Don't let the desire to make money quickly. Consult the wisdom of those that have done it before you, as they usually are willing to share this into freely. Invest only where it's safe and accessible when needed. Make a dry dwelling a profitable investment. Every man should own his own home. This reduces your cost of living and means more of your money is yours to keep. Increase your ability to earn. A strong desire to earn more is important and tangible. Press this until fulfillment, and you'll train yourself to accumulate wealth. Desires must be simple and definite. Perfection yourself in your calling will increase your earning potential. You will earn more with persistent effort and increasing your skills. Learn more of your craft and you will be rewarded financially. The more you learn, the more you earn. Chapter 4. Meet the Goddess of Good Luck. In this chapter, Arkad is addressing the king's chosen 100. He is asked if it was possible to encourage luck in life, as everybody has the desire to be lucky. Good luck is down to opportunity. It comes knocking and some people miss out on it. You need to move when the opportunity becomes available. You need to overcome procrastination if you're going to accrue riches. To attract good luck, it's important to take advantage of opportunity. Good luck can be anticipated by accepting the opportunity. Action will lead to the successes you desire. You have to be ready for an opportunity before the opportunity comes. Chapter 5. The 5 Loaves of Gold. Old Calebab asked his group of men if they were offered either a large bag of gold or a tablet inscribed with wisdom. What would they choose? All the men chose gold. Old Calebab told them that this is what wild dogs would do, feed today without worrying about tomorrow. He goes on to tell them about Namasir, Arkad's son. Namasir was given gold and wisdom by his father to prove that he could be trusted with money. He returned 10 years later to claim his father's estate as he had been promised, and told his father how at first he had lost the gold, but then used the wisdom to make his own fortune. Now Messire told old Caleb the 5 loaves of gold that his father had taught him. 1. Gold comes gladly and in increasing quantities for any man that would put aside 10% for his future and family. 2. Gold works for its owner who uses it wisely, it is willing to multiply itself. 3. Gold clings to a wise investor. 4. Gold slips away from the man who invests in an area he doesn't know, isn't skilled in, or hasn't sought the wisdom of an expert in that area. 5. God flees the man who would force it to impossible earnings, or who follows the advice of tricksters and screamers, or who trusts it to his own experience and romantic desires in investment. Chapter 6. The Gold Lender of Babylon. Rodan the spearmaker here finds himself with 50 pieces of gold. He seeks advice from Matan, the gold lender, as he doesn't know what he should do with it. Matan tells Rodan about the types of loans that he can give people. Some of these are based on property, some are based on income, and some are based on the guarantees of friends and family. If you desire to help a friend, do so in a way that does not bring your friend's burden on your head. The safest loans are to those whose possessions are of more value than the treasure they desire. The wise lender lends based on the guarantee of repayment and not on the actual loan amount required. Chapter 7. The Walls of Babylon. Benthor, a warrior who guarded the passageway to Babylon, was the first person to tell of news when the city was surrounded. The villagers asked Benthor for news, and he consoled them. Benthor kept guard day and night, and watched the enemies of Babylon try to break into the city. After 3+ weeks, the defenses of the city proved how good they were and the attackers were defeated. Benthor used this to show the citizens that he had been proved correct, and that Babylon had been strong enough to withstand the force of all the armies of the enemy. Benthor used this to illustrate the strength of the city. Chapter 8. The Camel Trader of Babylon. Target owes money to people and hasn't eaten for 2 days. He comes across a friend of his, a camel trader named Debasir. Debasir asks for some money he is owned by Target. He tells Target of the time he used to be a slave in Syria. Debasir had many debts, and he told Target that no man who did not repay money could ever respect himself. So in effect, he gave himself the soul of a slave. He told how he had run from Babylon away from his debts after he had made wrong decisions about money, and how eventually he was captured and taken as a slave of Syria. The wife of the man who owned him took pity upon him and gave him the opportunity to escape. He took camels and ran out of Syria and into the desert, and while he was exiled he had an epiphany. Although his debts may have been his enemies, he had true friends in Babylon who he wanted to repay. He returned to Babylon to face the people he owed money to, and begged them to be patient while he worked. The moneylender Matan helped him to find a job tending camels, and he worked hard and repaid all his debts. He tells all this to Target, and he can see what a difference his words have made to Target, and knows that Target wants to follow his example and works to get himself out of debt. Chapter 9. The Clay Tablets from Babylon. The 5 tablets containing the secret to wealth and discovered in Mesopotamia. Alfred Shrewsbury, an archaeologist, reported the findings on the tablet to Professor Frank Caldwell. This chapter deals with the letter that he wrote and what the tablets contain. The tablets told the story of Debasir's return to Babylon and the plans that he followed to repay his debts and start his life over again. Alfred writes to Professor Caldwell and tells him that he and his wife have started to follow the lesson detailed in the tablets, and even though the tablets were thousands of years old, he found the lesson helped him in life. Chapter 10. The Luckiest Man in Babylon. Here we meet Sharonada, who is traveling with the grandson of his partner Hayden Gallo. Sharo told Hayden that he was once a slave and that he counted himself as hugely lucky as he was sold to a baker, and he was so happy to be able to learn the trade of a baker. He told Hayden that his grandfather had also been a slave, but who was close to buying his freedom. When Sharo and Arad, Hayden's grandfather, met next, Arad had been freed and Sharo had been sold to another master. Arad bought Sharo's freedom, and this story touches Hayden's heart. Hayden from that moment on decides that work truly is the one key needed to his future successes.